A wall across NATO's edge. While the world's attention remains fixed on the war in Ukraine, another battle is quietly being prepared, hundreds of miles to the north. In Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, construction crews are working in forests and fields, digging trenches, pouring concrete, and assembling steel. This is the Baltic Defense Line, a sweeping military project stretching across NATO's eastern edge. Its purpose is simple. If Russia tries to push west, it won't be easy or cheap. But this isn't just another border fence. It's a network of 600 reinforced bunkers, anti-tank ditches, minefields, ammunition depots, and hardened positions, coordinated between three nations and designed to slow, bleed, and frustrate any invading force. The message is as much political as it is military. We will not be taken quickly. We will not be cut off, and you will pay dearly for every meter you take. Why Estonia is leading the charge. Among the three Baltic states, Estonia is particularly vocal and particularly fast-moving in building defenses. This is partly geography. Estonia shares a 183-mile border with Russia. Its third largest city, Narva, lies directly on that border, just 84 miles from St. Petersburg. If Russia were to attack, Estonia would be the first NATO country in its path. It's also history. Estonians remember what it means to lose sovereignty and how quickly it can happen. Chapter 1. A century of unwanted neighbors. To understand Estonia's urgency, we have to rewind a century. In 1940, the Soviet Union annexed Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania under the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with Nazi Germany. The occupation wasn't just military, it was cultural. Russian became the dominant language in government and industry. Tens of thousands of ethnic Russians moved in, while thousands of Balts were deported to Siberia. And yet, unlike many Soviet republics, the Baltics kept their own languages, traditions, and sense of nationhood alive. The Kremlin could suppress, but not erase, their identity. Legally, they had a unique position. On paper, their Soviet constitutions included a right to secede. It was meaningless until the late 1980s. When the Soviet economy began to collapse, the Baltics were the first to act, forming human chains, holding independence rallies, and pushing relentlessly for freedom. By 1991, they were out. Chapter 2. Turning west, not back. What set the Baltics apart from other former Soviet republics was what they did next. Instead of trying to mend ties with Moscow, they pivoted hard toward the west, embracing democracy, privatizing their economies, and actively seeking NATO membership. Chapter 3. Putin's early restraint. When the Baltics joined NATO, Vladimir Putin's reaction was surprisingly muted. This wasn't a sign of goodwill. It was a sign of priorities. Russia was still recovering from the chaotic 1990s. Putin was consolidating power, fixing the economy, and wasn't ready to confront NATO directly. He even floated the idea, half serious, of Russia joining NATO one day. Chapter 4. The shift in 2003. By 2003, his tone had changed. The Rose Revolution in Georgia, where protests ousted a Moscow-friendly leader, was, in Putin's view, an American-backed coup. He saw NATO not just as a military alliance, but as a political machine capable of toppling authoritarian regimes. The Baltics were dangerous to his worldview, not because they had large armies, but because they were living proof that former Soviet states could thrive in the West. Ukraine, in particular, could see the parallel, and that made it a threat. Chapter 5. 2014. The wake-up call. For a decade, Baltic NATO membership was a deterrent strong enough on its own. Then came Crimea. In 2014, Russia annexed the peninsula after Ukraine's pro-Western revolution. For the Baltics, this was a turning point. NATO ran war games to test its ability to defend them. The results were grim. Russian forces could be in Tallinn and Riga within 60 hours. And then there was the Suwalki Gap, a narrow strip of land between Poland and Lithuania. If Russia seized it, the Baltics could be cut off from NATO reinforcements entirely. Chapter 6. 2022. The preview. When Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Estonian leaders saw it as a preview of their own worst-case scenario. The good news: Russia's military proved less competent than feared. The bad news: it was willing to wage a brutal, resource-draining war regardless. The lesson was clear. The Baltics couldn't wait for NATO to arrive. They needed to fight from the first minute. Chapter 7. Building the Baltic Defense Line. On January 19, 2024, the defense ministers of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania unveiled the Baltic Defense Line. Key features: 600 bunkers along the borders with Russia and Belarus, hardened to withstand artillery fire. Designed for small units to hold ground and delay advances, supported by ammunition depots, anti-tank ditches, and minefields. This isn't about stopping Russia entirely. It's about slowing it down, shaping its movements, and giving NATO time to mobilize.